Umalume magwala kwelintaba wo.
Magwala kwelintaba. Umayebona sekufika intethele ukuthi namhlanje.
Sanibonani bafundi. Welcome students of isiZulu, basic isiZulu. This is now the 8th lesson. Of course, one or two had an A and a B part to it, but I want to practice more sentences with you, and I expect you to try as well. You might want to copy and paste. The next 3 slides have to do with the suggested nouns. I'm going to give you some adjectives and some verbs, and you might want to try and combine these 3 into short sentences. I will even allow you, if you want me to mark it for you, you can address it to Chell, that's KJELL, at ksb.org.za, and I'll gladly mark it for you. Send it as a word attachment. So this is the beginning of the sentences that I'm giving you the words for. I'm not doing the sentences for you, although I'll do some samples later on. So for each class of the Meinhof class system, I'm giving you then a number of nouns. If you want to invent some for yourself, you can also, but as long as you know to which class it belongs. Now the same with the next one, which finishes then the classes, and then here come the verbs and then the adjectives. Now do remember that it would be a help if you use these. Try to write it in present tense. If you know already how to write past or future tense, that's fine. But here are some suggestions, and I'm going to show you how I do it. You might want to copy, if you've downloaded this YouTube video, you might want to then copy it perhaps as an image. And if I can, when I upload it, I'll see if I can put the text as raw text, and then you can simply copy and paste it into your own Word document and then try to do the answers. So here are some that I've done for you. The first one, because I'm taking the nouns, I've taken verbs, I've taken adjectives. I'm also making simple sentences for you. The first one, uthisha uyakhala. The teacher is crying. This is class 1A. The plural would have been othisha bayakhala. Then the next one, umelusi uyacula. Again, a simple sentence, but this is how you start. If you can write correct sentences in the beginning, you'll find that the jigsaw puzzle begins to make sense. And as you listen and as you pay attention and focus on learning, I suggest do at least 3 times a week that you are doing some sort of Zulu, even if it is just speaking to a Zulu friend, getting some new words, etc. So, umalusi uyacula, the shepherd is singing. Then, umfana onsundu umude, the brown boy is tall. Now, I've broken it up like this. Umfana onsundu, the root would be nsundu, but onsundu means you're describing him. And then saying, he is tall, umude. So, umfana onsundu umude. Then, here you can see a tornado has gone through this housing complex, probably somewhere in America. And here are the words. And you'll find that all these nouns, verbs, and adjectives are in those 3 slides that I gave you in the beginning. Here, imizi yalimala ngesikwishi-kwishi, which means the homes were damaged by the tornado. The plural of homes, or home, it's umuzi, and then imizi. Now, this is a word you probably don't know, but I put it in those nouns that I've given you. Isikwishi-kwishi means, you could say, a dust devil or a tornado. There is the superstition, inkolos ngesiZulu, that it's a snake that goes above the roofs of the houses. And of course it looks like that, because if you see the dust devil, it looks like some sort of twirling snake that is up there and goes to all the trouble of destroying houses, even here in South Africa, although ours are much smaller than there. So here's another sentence. Umfula ugcwele kakhulu. So to break it down, umfula, the river, ugcwele is full, and then the kakhulu you add at the end of the sentence, because you are simply stressing the fullness thereof. It is full, very, if you want to take the sentence literally. Remember, here I'm going through each class, and you should recognize I've started with the u, o, u, aba, and then u, imi, etc. So here, amafu, abomvu, the red clouds. Then to this photograph. This is not a trick photograph, it actually is like that. Just imagine this taxi motorbike is giving a lift to 3 people right at the top of the waterfall. And we are saying here the water is dangerous. In Zulu, amanzi ayingozi. Now notice here that it takes the a. Remember, it could have been u, and then it would have then been uyingozi, etc. And if it was the aba, it would have said bayingozi. But because amanzi is always this class, which is the amma class, it always takes that prefix for the verb and for the adjective, etc. Then, isikole simpofu kakhulu. The school is very poor, as you can see in this photograph. Let me say it again and try and repeat. You'll be able to use this. If you download it, you have the advantage of going through it slowly and also trying to repeat the Zulu sentence so that you get the sounds by physically repeating it. Not just silently in your head, but by physically repeating it. When you learn a new language, you need to hear the sound, even if it's your own sound, and then compare it to the teacher's sound. So, isikole. Now, not isikole. Most white people, those learning Zulu, cannot tell the difference between a KH and a K. When it's a K that's alone, it becomes what we call an implosive sound, and not the K sound, which would be the KH. So, isikole simpofu kakhulu. Of course, if the prefix had been u or umu, it would have been umpofu kakhulu, etc. Now you are working out using the prefixes. Now another sentence, going further on. Inyanga enhle imhlophe. The nice moon is white. Now of course I could make long sentences, but I'm choosing to make short sentences, as I hope you do as well. Inyanga enhle imhlophe. When you begin a language, always the easiest and more correct way is to make short, simple sentences. I say the same to those learning English. Don't try long jawbreakers and difficult, complicated sentences where you need lots of commas and colons and semicolons. Just make it short and sweet, and you'll learn later on. You might want to make it slightly longer. Inkomo iyakotha. The cow is licking. Inkomo iyakotha. The cow is licking. If I had wanted to add licking with the tongue, I would have said iyakotha ngolimi. Or I would have said ulimi luyakotha. Then I would have changed that I and would have been lu, because a tongue in Zulu is ulimi, and it is therefore the ulu class. The third to last class, which is the ulu, then you would have taken the lu and added luyakotha. But here, because we're taking the in, komo, most animals in Zulu are the in or im class. Remember, imbuzi is Also the same class, but it is with an M. Then, beautiful sea there, and I love the blue sea, becomes in Zulu, Ngiyaluthanda ulwandle olubomvu. Now here it is a little bit more of a challenge because we are putting the lu, which is the taken from ulwandle, because the ulwandle is the ulu class. And so if it was an isi class, ISI, it would have been Ngiyasithanda. If it was bu, it would have been Ngiyabuthanda, like I like grass, Ngiyabuthanda utshani. But here it's lu, so it's Ngiyaluthanda. And the same goes for describing the color. That's why I said that the prefix system is the key to understanding Zulu. Otherwise, you'll never have more than an elementary greeting, how are you, I'm fine, and then you never go beyond that. But the key to unlocking isiZulu is to understand the prefix system, for it influences the whole sentence. So, bomvu means red. Oh, well, there's a drastic mistake there. It should not be olubomvu. It should be luhlaza, oluhlaza. And oluhlaza, I could have even said oluluhlaza, because the full thing for green or blue, by the way, is luhlaza. So here, more accurately, I love the blue sea. Ngiyaluthanda ulwandle oluluhlaza. You could have dropped that middle lu if you wanted to, but just for the practice I'm doing it. Here, as you see, there's grass, lovely green grass everywhere. Now notice we use the same word for blue for the sea as for green, and that is, it is not distinguished in Zulu. It is the same word, luhlaza. But if there is no context to it, for here we have a context of, we can see the grass is green. So we need not describe the greenness of the grass to make it people not to look up at the sky. But it is true that if you're speaking in a sentence without a context, then you need to say, like if you're meaning blue, then you'd say kuluhlaza njengesibhakabhaka, means the sky. So here, utshani obuluhlaza buphezu kwekhaya. Now the utshani is the ubu class. And that is why, instead of saying oluluhlaza or esi, etc., it is obu. And this just comes with practice. And then here on top, phezu is the root. It is the adjective, or the preposition, because it is ubu for utshani, therefore it takes the bu. So obu bu phezu kwekhaya, on top of the house. Then here, ukufa kwezinhlanzi, the death of fish. You could have said the fish are dead. That would have been izinhlanzi zifile. You see the z. Remember, this is the plural of inhlanzi, becomes izinhlanzi. Ukufa kwezinhlanzi, the death of fish. Then here, as I usually do at the end of every isiZulu, basic isiZulu, I try to give something that's more enjoyable, less boring, more interesting, and I usually give an idiom or a proverb. So here's a proverb which in Zulu is called isaka. So here, inkomo ingazala umuntu, which literally means a cow gives birth to a person. In other words, it's an impossibility. So here's the cow, here's the person, and the baby is as shocked as the listener would be, because it expresses an impossibility. Let me say it again. Isaka is the proverb, and it is inkomo ingazala umuntu. You could ask it as a question. That would be inkomo ingazala umuntu. Goodbye then, salani kahle.
Ubale amagwala kwelintaba wo.
Ubale amagwala kwelintaba.
Umayebona
sekufika
into.
into. Ezitshela ukuthi namhlanje